Hello, guys. I am Zoe from the Natural Health Improvement Center, and today I am sitting down with Shelby from Pure Pest Defense because so many of my clients are trying to reduce toxic load in their homes and have been asking about safer options for pest control. So, I wanted to bring in someone who actually does this work naturally and ethically so you guys could learn more about it. So, thank you so much for being here, Shelby.
Yes, thank you, Zoe. Thank you for having us. We're excited and
Of
grateful.
course. Good. First and foremost, I'd love for you to introduce yourself and just explain how you and your husband got into the natural side of pest control.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So we wanted to do pest control because everyone experienced pests, ants, spiders, wasps, ticks, aphids, all sorts of things. And up until like the last couple of years, we had been kind of just doing our own thing with like the synthetic pesticides. And then we had a company come out and start spraying our home and trying to help us out with the bee problem we had and some ants problems. And we started noticing different things happening within our body. All of a sudden, our girls were starting to experience more problems,
Mhm.
like they weren't being able to use the bathroom as much. I started noticing like hormones disrupting, like just a whole bunch of different things were going on within our health. And it was like, what is going on? We started like looking deeper into more things like, well, what are we putting in and around us that is causing an issue? And this pest control company that was coming to our home, every quarter was something that I had kept, we were missing. It was like, oh, that's just something that happens. You don't really correlate it. And then you start digging deeper, going, oh my goodness, I am literally putting synthetic pesticides in my home, like in and around everywhere, the
Mhm.
vents and all the things. And I'm breathing this in and I'm touching it with my skin. And I'm also putting it in my yard because they say that's helpful, and I'm allowing my kids to go roll around in the grass and ground myself. And then I'm wondering why I'm sick. And so it was like all
Mm.
of a sudden my husband and I are like, whoa, like this is not like we cannot be doing this. So what do we do? How do we? So we stopped that and we're like, nope, that's not a thing. But then we still have all the pests. And it's like, well, if we're having this problem, other people have to be having this
Mhm.
problem. Like, what can we do naturally? Like, I feel like there has to be something. And so we've researched and done all of the homework that you can. And he went through a ton of schooling just to be certified and insured and all the stuff to finally say that yes, essential oils can do it. That yes, cinnamon oil, cedarwood oil, wintergreen oil, thyme oil, mixed properly can solve the problem. And it solves the problem for all the pests, whether it's a wasp or a spider or an aphid or a tick. There's a certain different, you have to do it a little bit different for each one, but it can still work. And so for us, it's been amazing. It's been a huge transformation because we've, of course, tried it on our own home, and we don't have the pests, we don't have the things going on. And then our girls, it's like they are healing from things by coming to seeing you, but also we're not continually adding load to their bodies and continually undoing all the things we're trying to fix inside of them. So it's been such a beautiful thing. And um we've even had customers who are like, experiencing ant problems, and other people can't fix this and they're building all these mounds, and it's like, you know what, let's do this naturally. Like we can take care of this in a proper way. And what's also beautiful in all of this is it not only helps us and helps our bodies, but it helps the environment. It's helping, like, we're not putting synthetic pesticides in the soil. Therefore, then it seeps down into our groundwater. Then it's becoming more of an issue. Or, we also have stuff for rodents. It's like a certain type of bait that they're allowed to eat, and it's essential oils. Like there's essential oils and some cornmeal and some different things like that. That if the rodent eats it and then dies in your yard, or the dog then gets it, or a bird of prey then gets it, it's not passed on. It's not going to then kill that bird of prey because it had poison, or or something like that. So that's why we got into it, because it was like we were seeing such a problem with inside our bodies, and then seeing like, whoa, we're creating our own problem. Let's solve it. And then let's also help other people become aware of the problem and solve it as well.
That
So,
you just hit on so many amazing points. I think in the healing journey, we look at food, we look at water, but sometimes it's missed. Sometimes things that is
yes.
so normalized that can be so toxic to bodies. You kind of hit on it already, but why are some of these conventional pest treatments so concerning to some families?
Well, and yeah, they're so concerning because at a low level, so they say that they're safe. Well, toxicity, so risk is toxicity and exposure, right? Like, so we're having this low dose of pesticides sprayed all around your home, all in your grass, all around your vents, and it's done every couple of months. Well, you add that up over time, your body's not able to process that all out on top of everything else it's doing with the food that we have, with the chemicals from cleaning supplies, from, you name it, the stuff in the air, like our body's overloaded. And so these, plus in the pesticides, I literally looked them up. I did 30 conventional pesticides that every other control company uses. They have to. These are the only ones that are out there. They all are linked to cancer. They're all linked to endocrine disruption, neurological disorders. Like, it is insane. I'm like, how are we not aware that we're literally spraying this to kill a bug and thinking that it's not also harming us, maybe because we're bully. It is.
Uh-oh, my internet just went out a little bit.
Oh, dang.
Okay. Wait, can you
Got
say
it.
the last like 2 seconds you were talking about? You were
Yeah.
kind of on a track of like all of these things are toxic to the body. You just kind of went
Yeah.
cut a little bit.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So
Okay.
yeah, all of these things are toxic to the body, and we're like thinking, oh, we're gonna spray this stuff, and it's causing like, and we're going to kill bugs with it. But what we don't realize is that it is harming us. We think that, oh, because it doesn't result in our immediate death. Well, it is resulting in death, just at a slower rate, and we're not
Hmm.
linking it to it, and that's the biggest problem.
Hmm. And you talked about toxic load, which gets overlooked sometimes, but our body knows what to do with toxicity. And when we cannot detox it, we store it in our body, which is causing
Yes.
low-grade chronic inflammation. Something that I feel like a lot of people might think is that the natural pest company is not as effective as the ones that are around spraying the pesticides. But you did kind of hint on that it works, correct?
Oh yeah, it totally works. And yes, we've had that too. We've had people call and just say, "Well, does this really work? How is that going to be?" And it's like the best thing to say is like, "Let's just come out and try it. Let's
Mhm.
just see. There's no obligation, there's no, anything." But yes, it does work. I feel like everything in nature has a balance, and if we can figure, it's just like it can be, we do have multiple things. Like, so it's called a pest management and whole. We can come and spray definitely with the essential oils, but we also talk about like habitat, like does your trim need, or your trees need to be trimmed? Do you have
Mm,
sprinkler systems that are leaking and causing a bunch of damp areas that are causing, a buildup of, flies and different things like
mm,
that? Let's talk about all these things that we can do to help the whole situation besides just spraying. It's like putting a band-aid on the
mhm.
problem. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, they definitely work. And the other misconception kind of with all natural pest control is that they're concerned, like that it doesn't last as long. And that is true. You're right. Like synthetic pesticides, you spray it one time and it's going to last a long time, which just like we've learned with food, it shouldn't last like that, right? Like we should have to come back. We should have to be checking on the problem. And that's a good thing because other things arise. And it's like that helps us to come into your home, get to know you, get to know things that are going on, be aware of things that are happening. So it's like if we're disrupting a pest from this area because we've put our granulars down of cinnamon oil, but now they're
Mhm.
deciding that your fence is a beautiful space, then let's just come and say, hey, let's put some essential oil smell there. Then they're going to go and keep moving along. And so our goal isn't to just kill the pest. Our goal is to create the barrier, protect your home, and let them move naturally to another area.
Wow, that is amazing because it's looking at the full picture,
Yes,
which
yeah.
I think gets missed sometimes. You've been mentioning a couple of the products, but what are some of the main products that you use to handle pests?
Yeah, so the main one is called Ecovia. It's a all natural essential oil. It literally has four ingredients. It's thyme oil, rosemary oil, wintergreen oil. It's got some water and some glycerin in it. And so it's a beautiful product. It smells that wintergreen is such a strong, beautiful smell. And that was the one that actually can do so much. It does wasps, it does spiders, it does aphids, it does ants, and the particular ants. There are some ants that we have to use a different thing for, but we'd also get to know your family and see what that is. That we use, it's called It's an ant. Oh, is it Ant RX? Maybe that's what it's called. My husband's better at the names, but that one, it's like a sprinkle. It's almost like diatomaceous earth, right? And it's like a sprinkle around, and that they would take down to their queen at the bottom of the nest. 'Cause that's the other part is understanding how this insect works,
Mm.
and then being able to dissolve that whole. It's usually an ant mound at its core. And then the other product that we use is a granular. So the granular goes in and around the yard and around bark, kind of landscaping around your home. That's cinnamon oil and cedarwood oil. And that actually is helpful for any pest in the yard. Like some spiders live in the yard, certain aphids are in the grass, but it also deters mice. They do not like the smell of
Mm.
it. Yeah, they don't like the smell of it. So that's something that has been really nice at like again, protecting that barrier, saying, ooh, I don't like that home. I'm going
Mhm.
somewhere else. So those are the main products that we use. And we also have you can have your like a rodent box if you do have a prevalent like an issue going on with rodents already at your home. We have a rodent box, and our goal is to put them on the outside of the home because we never want to trap rodents inside the home, right? We always want to draw them out, and what they're looking for is food and water, right? That's what every rodent wants. That's what any person wants. We want food, we want water, we
Mhm.
want shelter. So let's provide that. Here's your box with your food and your shelter. And so
Mhm.
they go in and then they eat a little bit of that. And that is, it's just a little bit of cinnamon oil. I think it has a cedar wood, and there's something else in that one that I'll have to double check on. Um, but they eat a little bit of that, and what it does is it slowly like dehydrates. It just dehydrates them, and then they go back to, their area. They go to try to find water, and so the rodent will eventually die, but it dies away from your home, which is a
Mhm.
huge thing too, because you don't want if you can avoid it, you don't want rodents dying. You want it in your house for sure, and on your property if you can avoid it, because it's a nasty smell and you have to deal with all of that. So our goal is just yeah, create a total nice barrier for your home with those type of products.
It's so refreshing when you list the ingredients, being able to know and understand
Oh
those,
yeah,
because oftentimes you look at these ingredient labels, whether it be food or pesticides, and they're things that you can't even pronounce. So why would that be
yes.
safe in your own body as well?
Totally. And that's what when my husband and I were talking about it, it's like everything we look at is the label, and if any
Mhm.
customer was like, well, let me see what you use, we have no problem. Here
Yeah.
you go. Let's read this label. And if there's anything that you don't understand or anything you want to question on, by all means, we've researched every single thing. We feel totally comfortable with it. It's like, yeah. So, it makes me feel good, like in my
Hmm.
heart, when people call to feel that confident, in it
Hmm.
instead of being like, yeah, it's natural. I
Yeah.
think some people put that label on it, but don't actually like follow through with it. Or it's
Hmm.
kid friendly, pet
Hmm.
friendly. And it's like, well, what does that even mean, really?
Let's question that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about, are there any bugs in the Boise Treasure Valley area that we should or people should be aware of?
Yeah, there's quite a few. So it seems like we're getting quite a bit of ticks. It's becoming
Mm.
a big thing right now in the Boise area for numerous different reasons, which is different because normally in our area we don't get a ton. It's like, in grassy lands and stuff, but it's becoming more prominent. And so what we have is it's a nature side skin, like basically a bug spray. And
Mhm.
I need to look up the ingredient on that one exactly, but we just researched that and made sure that it was exactly all natural because we were thinking about going camping and there has to be something, right?
Mhm.
And there is that you can go on your skin beautifully. There's no problem with it. You just don't, make sure you avoid the eyes. And it's going to repel fleas, ticks, all spiders. I was like,
Wow.
oh my gosh, this is awesome because ticks especially that for whatever reason inside of me has the biggest fear of like, please
Mhm.
do not get on my family. So
Yeah.
if I can just protect myself with something that they don't like the smell of, by all means. And then I feel better about it too because you get the off bug spray or whatever other bug spray, and you're literally paying more poison on your
Mhm.
body that's going through your
Mhm.
pores. You're breathing it in. You're generally, when you're camping, you're sleeping in it, and it's like,
Mhm.
this is terrible.
Yep.
So to have this has been so nice. So, and we sell that too. You can also get it on Amazon, so that's fine as well.
Mhm.
And then the other thing to be aware of is there's been many ants. They're like they call them a lot of people refer to them as red ants, but they're actually a harvester ant. They're like this red and then they sting, and the sting is almost worse than a bee sting. And they create little mounds inside of your yard, and that has been very prevalent. We've had many
Mm-hmm.
customers been calling about that, and because it's scary for anyone to really be around because that ant protects its nest at no like
Mm-hmm.
without it like that's what it's designed to do. And so we were able to like effectively take care of that. So that's something to be aware of, and just don't assume it's just any ant.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing would be wasps. Wasps can get in tons of areas under sheds, in fences, eaves. I mean, we've seen them all, but there are some that their sting is there's like you may not be allergic, but it causes havoc within the body. Like
Mm-hmm.
some of that stuff gets in you, and it's like, oh my goodness, I don't know what exactly is going on with the different. I feel like the insects are evolving. I feel like they're growing stronger in
I
some way,
agree.
and I'm like, oh my goodness. So whatever we can do to try to deter that is
Mhm.
and not have that happen to your body is good. So yes, that's what's going on mostly in the Boise area. So if anybody's having a problem, we'd be happy to have them reach out.
What are some of, because it sounds like almost every house might be a little different based on what's going on. What are the services that you guys give out or recommend?
Yeah, so we would do like if anyone who calls, we always start with like wondering what's going on. What are you seeing? And kind of getting a little bit more about information about their property because a lot of times what they're seeing isn't usually what the like there's
Mhm.
so much more going on, right? Like
Mhm.
you see a little bit, but there's usually probably a whole nother thing kind of going on underneath the surface or in different areas of your property. And so we always talk about all of that. And the first thing we do is we come to the house and we take a look, right? We just look around everywhere, try to look for entry points. We check out cobwebs. We look at, wasp nests, and then we slowly start our four-step process, which we do our essential oil spray around the base of the doors, around the windows. And as we're kind of going through, we're just kind of looking at different areas, and then we get all of the cobwebs off. Once that's all taken care of, we then go property wise, like we're looking fence, grass, play structure, sheds, looking at everything that could be going on, any entry points for mice, because you can start to see where they might be chewing on your siding or different things that are going on. So we're looking at all of that kind of stuff. And then the last part is the granulars in the yard that creates the barrier. And then we do a follow-up, right? We do all of those things, and then we're like, hey, we're going to call you in a week. We're going to see how
Mhm.
things are going. What are you seeing? And we're happy to like for at no charge, we come back, we just take a look at everything again. If something needs a little more attention, then we do that. Because what happens sometimes when you start to disrupt a pest is it wants to just, it wants to move or it brings out other pests or different things are
Mhm.
going on. So you have to kind of stay on top of it, just like stuff in the body, right? Like when things are kind of going on in your body, it's like, oh, don't just ignore that. Let's like stay on top
Mhm.
of it. So yeah, we reach out then within a week and we're like, hey, and then we come back out at no charge if we need to spray a little bit more or to put a little bit more granulars or more just to see, okay, no, everything is going on exactly as we need it to go. Let's let this ride and we'll see you again in another week. And we just keep following up like that until we make sure that everything is fully maintained and the
Mhm.
barriers fully set.
That is incredible. I have a feeling so many people are going to be calling you. If people are interested to learn more or book something with you, where can people find you?
Oh, yeah. So they can reach out. We have a website. It's called purepestdefense.net. We've also on Facebook, Pure Pest Defense, Instagram, same thing. You're welcome to call. It's 208-510-7100. So that one's super easy. Call, text, anything like that.
This has been so informative. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to just
Yeah,
explain this really important information that I think a lot of people do not have the correct information on as well.
I agree. And thanks for having us.
You're
I'm so
welcome.
grateful that you allowed us to do this with you.
Of course. Thank you so much, Shelby.
Yes, have a good rest of the day.